What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Invest Iowa. Today I have Courtney and Molly that are going to talk to me about house development and low-income families. Thank you so much for coming. So if you can go ahead and introduce yourselves one by one and just why should we listen to you, that'll be great.
My name is Molly Giller. I'm the Director of Programs and Supportive Services for the Polk County Housing Trust Fund. I do both our fundraising as well as our grant making, because all the money that we raise goes out to the community to support programs and services that help link people and families to stable and affordable housing.
And I'm Courtney Kirkpatrick. I am the Director of Advancement and Administration. And so I do all of our fundraising, marketing, administrative stuff. We're a small team because we're a small nonprofit, so I wear a lot of hats. And as an organization, we offer a variety of services that really just meet families where they are in their housing journey, whether it's, on the verge of homelessness to home ownership.
Wow, those are two big jobs. So walk me through that process. How do you get involved in that?
So for me, my background was in public health. And so, public health means a lot of things. I always knew that I wanted to work more broadly in the community than, say, for a county or state public health department. Housing is a huge part of, how people would consider themselves healthy. It's hard to maintain employment. It's hard to do a lot of things to be healthy when you don't know where you're going to sleep that night. And so that's kind of how I got into this work. I realized also that as much as people say, ew, I don't want to fundraise, I actually love that because people like Courtney and, the people that Courtney work with, they cannot do their job if they don't have the money to do it. And so as much as I can help support in that work and getting people to be as healthy as possible, that means that we have a healthier community.
And I got started, my background is also in fundraising. And so I was actually at Drake University and had a really great, comfortable job, fundraising, a great organization, really great benefits. But I had just kind of hit a wall. I wanted to make more of an impact. And what more of an impact can you make than housing? It's a basic need that everyone needs to thrive and survive and strengthen communities. And I have a little bit of a personal investment just because of the way that I grew up. I was raised by my great aunt and uncle, lived a very privileged life, but also experienced a lot of, distress situations with my parents and housing, specifically being evicted and living in, not the best neighborhoods or apartments with roaches and, a lot of wild situations. So I was in a situation where I could, I found this position, hadn't heard of Home Inc., but knew it was something that I wanted to be involved in. And it was a risky decision to leave such a comfortable job, but it was one of the best decisions I think I've ever made. So
You don't regret it at all?
No, not at all. I love it. Yeah.
Well, that's an impactful story.
Yeah.
So how does that relate to right now, the present, and what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, since I started, I was the first fundraiser that Home Inc. had ever had, and not a lot of people know about Home Inc. and who we are, even though we are Des Moines' oldest affordable housing agency. So it's hard to fundraise for something people don't know about. So the first 4 years that I've been there has really been dedicated to bringing more awareness, telling people who we are, what we do, and the services that we offer, because we do serve a wide variety of folks in Polk County.
Okay, I'm not familiar with it either, so could you give me a brief description of what Home Inc. is?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, we offer a variety of services from, homeless prevention. We have a program that Polk County Housing Trust Fund actually funds, is our Hope for Stable Families program, that we help pay back rent, back utilities to keep families in their homes. The big point for that is to keep kids housed so they're not missing school and having to bounce around, because then they'll get behind in school and then maybe they won't graduate, and then it's kind of cyclical. Poverty, is generational. And then we also offer rental housing counseling, helping landlords and tenants understand their rights and responsibilities to keep them from being evicted most of the time. We also offer homebuyer education as well as homeownership coordination. So anyone who wants to buy a home, they don't know if it's possible, they can come to us, fill out a readiness assessment, and we can work with them to overcome barriers between them and homeownership to make it a reality. And then we also do build new construction, single-family homes, and then sell them to low-income families at an affordable price. Their mortgage payment will only be 30% of their income when they buy the house.
Wow, that's a lot. 30%?
Yes.
How is that sustainable?
So a lot of grants, Polk County Housing Trust Fund comes in with that program as well. Federal grants, federal dollars, Polk County Housing Trust Fund helps with that. We have to subsidize. So we build a house, it costs maybe $320 to build. It only assesses, because of the neighborhood we're building it in, for $220. So there's that assessment gap. And then we turn around and sell it to the family for maybe $165. So then there's that affordability gap. So again, we built it for $330 and then only sold it for $165. So there's a lot of grant funding that helps bring down the cost, and down payment assistance programs as well.
Okay, and that's how homing sustains itself.
Yes.
Oh.
And then we also get a developer fee every home that we build, so that's kind of a revenue source for us to cover the overhead cost of to help run all of our other programs.
Okay, why do you think people don't know about this?
I think because we haven't had someone in my role to be out in the community telling people who we are and what we do. We're decades behind other organizations who have had fundraisers or even like a marketing budget. We have, so that's why opportunities like this, to just even get in front of a microphone and tell people who we are and what we do, is really important.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, like, nonprofits for some reason feel like, and I've heard this, like, the best kept secret in Des Moines. Mm-hmm. Like, that's something that should be a source of pride, when in fact I think that does hurt your mission. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because people don't know you.
People don't know. They
how are
can't
you gonna
use
help?
you, and you can't, get money in through donation. People aren't going to give to things that they don't know about. So.
And we've never really had an issue in terms of the clients not knowing who we are, because word of mouth, and we have really great relationships with certain landlords who then refer their tenants and all of that. And so there's been this really fine balance of, yes, I want to bring more awareness to our organization, but I need to do it in a manner that's not bringing in tons more clients without bringing in more money, because then we need to bring more staff, because we don't have the capacity to meet the needs. And COVID was a perfect example of that. Prior to COVID, we would get about 150, 200 calls a month. Wow. And during the height of COVID, we were getting about 400 calls a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a huge spike.
Yes. So we had to shut our phones off, and that's not what we want to do. We're a resource to the community, but because there was such a heightened need, specifically for rental assistance, people found themselves in a situation that they normally wouldn't have, and it was because of the pandemic.
Was it most of the calls that you were getting were at people that were actually looking for your resources?
Yeah, and specifically looking for rental assistance.
Rental or home ownership?
Mostly rental, but we did get a lot of home ownership calls. That was a piece that we weren't really able to help people keep their houses if they couldn't make their mortgage payment. We weren't able to offer that, but we could refer folks to organizations that could help.
Mm. Molly, is there some sort of relationship between what you two do? Like, how did you meet each other, like, and the process?
Yeah, so Courtney and Home Inc. I think I love working with Home Inc. because I love working with Courtney. But Home Inc., I think, is an organization in town that is one of, when we're talking about the housing space, it's one of the most respected within communities of color. And I think that speaks a lot to what Courtney was just talking about the grassroots aspect of the work that they do. And so I lean on organizations like Home Inc. because the Polk County Housing Trust Fund is an organization that does a lot of funding, does a lot of data analysis for the community. We sit in on a lot of tables when it comes to regional planning, and we do things like that, but we don't serve clients. We fund organizations that do that work. So we consider ourselves a link between a lot of varying pieces, families, individuals, and then, we get a lot of funding for development, for bricks and mortar development through government sources. And so we're a conduit in the community. And I think a well-respected entity when it comes to housing. And so, I know that I and a lot of my coworkers, we take that very seriously, and we understand that we're not the ones on the ground doing the work, and we're not the ones that, a lot of times create the money. And so we're in a servant capacity towards the community. So, I lean on organizations like Home Inc. to understand, at a individual level, what's going on, what are the needs, and then to be able to pass that information on to our donors so that they understand truly what does the community need and how can we best get dollars to that to fix what's going on. COVID was a huge example of the community responding to what was going on. We did work with a number of different entities like Iowa Legal Aid, like Impact, to be able to get folks who were being evicted because they couldn't pay their rent during COVID to stay housed. And we did a lot of fundraising around that when government dollars ran out, and the community responded very quickly and very generously. And so I work with Courtney because we fund one of the programs that she fundraises for. Like she says, that really works directly with that link between education, health, and housing. So, if kids are being evicted, they're probably not doing that well in school, and so on and so forth. And so our primary focus in all of the work that we do is stable housing, whether that means in an apartment, whether that means in a home, but that stability aspect is where we kind of live and put our resources towards.
Wow. So when you talk to me about the fundraising, when you are talking to your donors, what does that conversation look like? And what is, do the goals that they're trying to get or meet are the same that you guys have in mind as well? Or
sometimes.
Sometimes. So how's that relationship with them?
Yeah, I mean, that is like, I can only speak to our donors, but it's a wide, it's a wide net. And so, and like what Courtney was saying, some of what they do is eviction prevention. Some of it is like home development. How I try to message that to our donors is that, it's not a one size fits all approach to what housing looks like in our community. Some folks will always require case management to stay housed. Folks that have varying needs like, mental health or physical limitations, they may always need help to stay housed, and they're not going to be living in their own home. All the way up to folks that, like Home Inc. Builds new homes. There are folks that they just maybe need a one-time investment of money. They are able to get their own home, and then they are able to build their own wealth and kind of continue on in a life that is very prosperous. Those are very different things. And then there's a lot in the middle there. And so I try to tell our donors that we are, kind of looking at a community level what the community needs for stable housing. And that means a lot of different things.
Wow.
I would just add to that, for me specifically, and the key to fundraising is listening. You'll meet a lot of fundraisers. A lot of us can talk forever and to a wall if we need to, but the key is listening and meeting the donor where they are and what they need and what they want to fund. Because we offer so many different services, someone may want to fund homebuyer education because, specifically financial institutions, they are the ones that are lending money to low-income borrowers, and so it is a bigger risk. And so they want to fund our homebuyer education courses because then we are educating their clients to then become smart borrowers that can be successful. So that's just an example of.
Okay. I do see the relationship now. And the programs that you guys are doing, is this something more local, or is it the Des Moines Metro, or just Des Moines as a city?
So for us specifically, majority of what we do is in central Iowa, but our rental housing counseling is statewide because the Iowa laws for landlords and tenants is statewide. So we get calls all over and offer referrals to local inspectors and such.
Yeah, so I should say we are a nonprofit. We're a 501c3. I think because of our name, people think that we're a county entity. And we do have a really strong relationship with Polk County, but we're a nonprofit. And so, but because of our funding that we do get through the government, we are limited to funding organizations and programs that operate in Polk County. So that is a little tricky when it comes to somewhere like West Des Moines. You know that West Des Moines in Dallas County and Polk County, but our dollars do have to stay within Polk County.
Polk County. Okay. What current projects are Homing taking upon in this year, for example?
Yeah, so we just wrapped up finishing building an accessory dwelling unit in the Oak Park, Highland Park neighborhood. And what that is it's often referred to as an ADU or an AHU, accessory housing unit. And so it's a standalone livable unit. So it has its own kitchen, bathroom, all of that. And it can look a variety of different ways. They're really popular in other cities like California, Denver, Minneapolis. And in 2019, Des Moines changed their zoning laws to allow for accessory dwelling units. And so we partnered with AARP, Invest DSM, Viridian Credit Union, and Neighborhood Finance Corporation to bring this ADU as a demonstration project to show families and homeowners in Des Moines what an ADU could look like. It can be a source of income. They can rent out the ADU. It could be, the homeowner could live in the ADU and rent out the bigger house. It can be a source of income that way. It could be for a caretaker, elderly family members. It can really look a variety of different ways and meet the families where they are in their housing journey. And so we just wrapped up that ADU project. It is for sale on the open market. It comes with a 4-bedroom single-family home, and it's for sale for $325 right now. And then we have a couple other homes that are being built, one on East 9th Street. It's a 3-bedroom, and then we have one on Forest. So those are in terms of new construction that we have in the process.
Okay, why? Why does Des Moines change the zoning?
To allow for accessory dwelling units, because it has become so popular, and it's a way to build an affordable unit for a lower cost. And within the density of Des Moines, you'll notice that you drive around the city of Des Moines, there's not a lot of green space. There's not open lots that you can put more housing in. When we're in desperate need of just housing units in general, especially with, Des Moines' plan to grow and bring more people over the next 20 years, we need thousands of housing units. And so this is a way to, quick, dirty, inexpensive, and building within the density. And so it's on the back of the house. It's connected to the garage. You don't even know it's there. And it's just another way, an innovative way to build more affordable housing.
And it's a great investment opportunity as well.
That's what I was thinking. How do you relate? So for somebody who's buying, so let me get this straight. So you have a home, and then in the back you have a detached livable area.
Yeah, when I was growing up, we called them carriage homes. So it's not a new concept, but I think it's a new term.
Okay.
Yeah, mother-in-law suites.
Yeah.
Granny flats. It has a variety of names.
And that happened in Des Moines, right?
Yeah.
What's the difference from a livable unit, the carriage unit? What do
Carriage
you call
house.
it? Carriage house? What's the term now?
Accessory dwelling unit.
Accessory dwelling unit.
ADU.
What will be the difference now between a garage and an ADU?
So there already were some that existed because they were grandfathered in before the zoning. So they'd changed the zoning law to not allow them anymore. And now they have adjusted the law to allow for them. And so it isn't a new concept, but it's kind of it's a fresh start to try a new way to look at bringing more affordable housing.
And you asked what's the difference between a garage and an ADU?
Yeah,
you can't live in a
garage.
Difference? You need to, an ADU has a bathroom, a kitchen, and a living space. Okay. You could turn your garage into an ADU, but you have to have, plumbing and those sorts of things. Yeah. And so if you see a house that has a garage that has a really nice, looks like living space, it's quite possible that is an ADU.
And is this something that you need a permit for?
Yes.
For
Yep, and
ADUs?
If anyone that is interested in building an ADU, they can contact Home Inc. and we can help them through the process. That was sort of us building this, was us showing how it can be possible, and we're more than happy to help people bring it because they're essentially doing our job for us, building more affordable housing units.
So from an investment, I mean, it serves a need. Like Courtney said, we have an enormous shortage in Polk County of affordable homes, affordable living spaces. But if you think about, if you wanted to build a home and that's a little bit expensive, how could you make some revenue? You have that and you have a renter back there. Or you have multi-generational family in one space that's not crammed into a, 2-bedroom apartment.
Makes
so,
sense.
and I think it's something that is going to continue to be more and more present. And I think more and more people will become aware of it and see the benefit. So,
What's something that you would like the people in general to know from you guys' work, from you guys' companies?
yeah. So, yeah, and I mean, I talked a lot about the programs and services that I fundraise to fund. But if you go on our website, Polk County does have a lot of different grants that actually go to developers. It's a different source of revenue, whereas I'm fundraising from, different donors. These funds are coming to us through the state and the federal government. And so there are development grants that are available. There's a lot of different kinds. And so, when we talk about the relationship between Home Inc. and Polk County, through donor dollars, we support programs like Hope for Stable Families. But through development dollars, we support, the building of new construction homes, the rehab of different units. From our perspective, it does have to meet that threshold of being for somebody that is low income. And we, like Courtney said, we use the metric of area median income. So, but if you go to our website, that's all there. So, like I said, our goal through different revenue streams is just to get more affordable housing that's stable into the community.
Okay, how can people that want to be involved in the cause reach out to you?
So
or how do they get involved with the cause?
to get dollars or just to be more aware?
Well, if I wanted to support the program,
Yeah.
whether that is money-wise
Yeah.
or resources-wise,
Yeah.
how do I get in touch with you?
So you can go on our website and you can see kind of different pieces of information, and you can always contact me. My email, I think, is on our website, and our website is pchtf.org, Polk County Housing Trust Fund.org.
I could see how people will confuse that with being from the city.
Yes. Yeah.
What about you, Courtney?
Well, I'd say, I'm all about just trying to connect and let people know about who we are and what we have to offer. I could only talk for 10 minutes today and tell you about what we have to offer, but our website has a variety of different, we're also a landlord. We have, we do a lease purchase program, so people can rent before they buy their house. So there's a lot
rent
that
to own?
Yes, yes. And there's a lot I didn't get to touch on. So our website's a great resource. I'm always happy to meet with people individually. My information is on our website, which is homeincdsm.org. So
homeincdsm.org.
yeah.
Wow, that was a lot of information. I know, we left a lot of pieces, but thank you so much, guys, for coming. I really appreciate your time. This is really important for the community, so I really needed you to come over here and say a couple of words. So thank you. You. If you made it this far in this video, I appreciate you. Subscribe and hit the like button, and if you have any questions, I'll leave all their information in the comments below. Reach out to them if you have any questions. Once again, this is Invest Iowa. Thank you for tuning in. See you guys in the next one.